the dark side of discipline nobody talks about. Everyone praises the man who never misses a day, rises before the sun, grinds when others sleep, says no to comfort like it's poison. We call him focused. We call him strong. We point to him as proof that the formula works. We should admire him. We want to be him. But what if that man is breaking? What if the discipline that built him is quietly destroying him? That's what nobody tells you. Discipline is one of the most powerful forces a man can develop, but like fire, it doesn't care whether it warms the house or burns it down. Today, we go somewhere the self-improvement space rarely dares, the dark side of discipline. By the end, you will understand something the Stoics knew that modern culture has forgotten. Stay with me.
You pick up the habit, waking up at 5, the cold shower, the 2-hour workout, the rigid diet. At first it works. You're sharper, more in control. The results feel like proof that you are strong, proof that the system works, proof that more of this can only mean more of that. So you add more, because if discipline works, more discipline must work more, right? The very success of your discipline convinces you to weaponize it against yourself. You stop resting because rest feels like weakness. You stop enjoying anything because enjoyment feels like complacency. You stop listening to your body because your body feels like the enemy. And slowly, discipline stops being a tool you wield. It becomes a cage you live in. Epictetus said, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." Most men trapped in punishing discipline aren't pursuing tranquility. They are at war with their fatigue, their hunger, their humanity. A man at war with himself cannot win.
The Stoics understood something about moderation that modern hustle culture has twisted beyond recognition. When we hear moderation, we think softness, settling, not what the Stoics meant. Sophrosyne, the Greek ideal, is mastery through balance, not maximum output. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?' Not grind harder, practice peace, practice the softness that makes you fearless of it. Modern hustle culture tells you rest is for the weak, that pain is always progress, that slowing down is the first sign of failure. Millions of good, hungry men have swallowed that story whole, and it is eating them alive. The Stoic definition of discipline is not maximum suffering, it is maximum self-knowledge.
Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive for nearly 2 decades, he waged wars on frozen frontiers, governed millions across a crumbling empire, and carried the weight of betrayal, illness, and grief every single day of his reign. And still, he found time to sit alone and write to himself. In Meditations, he wrote, "What is it that puts a man to trouble? It is the misuse of things." The misuse of things. He was talking about effort, about discipline itself. Push it past what serves you, and it becomes a liability. Elsewhere, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. What is it, if not insanity, to drive yourself past the point of health, past joy, past genuine connection, chasing a metric that keeps moving every time you reach it? Marcus Aurelius understood rest as a duty, not a reward, a duty to yourself, to the people who depend on you, to the work you've promised your life to. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. This is your permission.
So how do you know if your discipline has crossed from strength into self-punishment? Here are the signs. The first sign, you feel guilty when you rest. Not lazy, guilty. Like rest is a moral failure. Like taking one night off unravels everything you've built. That feeling isn't discipline talking. That is fear, dressed in discipline's clothes. The second sign, your habits are about control, not growth. You're doing it because if you don't, something feels like it will fall apart. You're not building anymore. You're holding. That is anxiety with a morning routine. The third sign, you have stopped enjoying the journey. Epictetus warned, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." If you cannot rejoice, if there is no satisfaction, no pride, no moment of stillness where you say, "This is enough," then your discipline has severed your ability to be present. The fourth sign, your body is telling you to stop, and you are calling that weakness. The aching joints, the persistent exhaustion that sleep can't fix, the creeping injuries you push through because stopping feels like surrender. These are not weakness. They're information. Your body is not your enemy. It is the only vehicle you have. The fifth sign, the people who matter feel your absence. Not your physical absence, the deeper kind. You are technically present, but entirely unreachable. Locked inside your regimen, always grinding, always optimizing, always somewhere else inside your head. Discipline that costs you your relationships, your joy, your health, is not virtue. It is a slow violence.
So what is the answer? Abandon discipline? No, that has never been the Stoic path. The answer is the middle way, between indulgence and self-destruction. It is harder than either extreme because it demands something both extremes let you avoid: wisdom. Seneca put it plainly, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of the punishment men inflict on themselves comes not from genuine necessity. It comes from fear. Fear of being seen as soft. Fear that if they rest, they will become someone they despise. Fear that the version of themselves they've built will dissolve the moment they stop forcing it. That fear is the real enemy. Work with full effort when it's time to work. Rest with full intention when it's time to rest. Define success by the quality of your effort, not the quantity of your suffering. You are not a machine to be optimized. You are a man with a body that has limits, a mind that needs silence, a soul that needs meaning beyond metrics. Marcus Aurelius fought campaigns in the frozen north. Epictetus endured slavery. Seneca faced execution with more composure than most men face a hard conversation. Forged men. And they all said, "Know thyself, your strengths and your limits, when to advance and when to be still." The dark side of discipline isn't discussed because admitting it requires a courage the hustle space doesn't sell. It doesn't fit on a motivational poster. It can't be packaged into a morning routine. It requires you to look at the thing you're most proud of, the very thing you've built your identity around, and ask, is this serving me, or have I become its servant? Let that question disturb you. On the other side is something most men who preach discipline never find: peace. Not the peace of giving up, the peace of a man who works hard because he chooses to, rests because he's wise enough to, and knows the difference between the fire that forges him and the fire that burns him down. Not maximum suffering, maximum wisdom. Subscribe if this speaks to you. Every week we bring ancient Stoic wisdom into the exact battles you're fighting right now. Not to make you comfortable, not to flatter you, to make you clear. That clarity is everything. That's what the Stoics were after. That's what you're after.